I've lived 1,000 lives. I've piloted 1,000 souls. I've killed and fought at night just for another role.
This is the Happy Jacks RPG podcast, a roundtable discussion that's a mix of friendship, humor, unbridled enthusiasm, and tabletop RPG topics sent in from around the world.
Just for another role.
Hello!
Hey!
And welcome to Season 33, Episode 12 of the Happy Jacks RPG podcast. My name is Kimmy.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Ingy.
On today's episode, today's topic is, what type of player are you? And does it change based on system or setting? Also, our emails, Davi asks, am I the a-hole? And it's really from Davi. Like, I didn't just go and pull it off of Reddit, I promise. I know I made a joke about doing that at one point when we were desperate for emails, but no, this is...
And I can answer that question right now.
Yeah. And then Dougler shares some game stories for us about their group. If you'd like to contribute a question or topic to the show, you can email us at happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. That's happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. You can also drop messages to us in the new mailbag channel in the Discord. So if you go post there, I also see them there. Please don't do both. That will confuse me. And I will put the email and message in twice because I will see it in Discord and pull it one time. And I will not remember. So please do not do both. Pick one. We have multiple flavors. Pick one flavor. Okay. Announcements. Game Days is this Saturday, March 2nd. Very exciting, right? This weekend. Yeah, this week. My brain is melted. Yes, very excited. There's a bunch of games posted. Every time we do this, it seems like it kind of gets bigger. We've had a whole bunch of people join the Discord in the last couple weeks prepping for it, and I'm so excited.
Yay!
I will think of all of you while I'm on my way to the Game Manufacturers Expo on a plane on March 2nd.
So exciting.
Probably with no Wi-Fi, because
I'll be here running a game.
exciting.
Savage Worlds Fantasy, my
Yes.
world Aldgate.
So good.
Mm.
Yes. That's the other thing. It was in my announcements. We're doing one-shots. We're starting to work up our one-shots again. So our first one-shot of 2024 will be Ingy running Savage Worlds. So it's very
yeah.
exciting. They're
Fun.
chatting all about it and planning, and I keep getting notifications. I'm like, oh yeah.
See this?
I'm not in it.
That's
All
all
the
my
things.
it's the adventure as it stands.
Excellent. So that'll actually be Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific time that we'll start streaming. And if you don't want to watch it live because you're playing in a Game Days game, that's fine. You can watch it later. It'll be on YouTube. Like all our games.
That's why we record them.
That's right. Forever. Whoa. That was a good, scary voice. Thank you.
Thanks. That's what I do.
Yeah, that was very good. Okay. Indie Designer of the Month. So, Anna Landon is amazing. She is our Indie Designer of the Month for February. And it sucked because we had one where we were literally had a giant storm in LA and everything was flooded. So we had to cancel the show. And then last time was the con episode. So we've had one day where we've got to talk about Anna and her amazing, beautiful games, which are amazing and beautiful. Did I mention I'm hiring her to do art for one of my games because her art is so amazing and beautiful? It's amazing. So I'm going to talk about two of her games tonight to make it more fair. So if you want to find her stuff, you can find it at Anna Landon. That's ANNALANDIN.itch.io. She also has a Patreon where you can get all her games for $5 a month.
Nice.
And she's a queer Swedish illustrator, comic artist, and game designer, and the one who wears all the hats at T-Witch Games. So, the first game. She always has these little poems with her games. I love it. It
That's so
sets you.
cute.
It's so good. And they're not always poems. They're little, just small bits that are just that bring you into the meaning of the story and really bring you into the game. So this one. Sing songs with words they could not take from you. Raise the banner woven from the flags you stole back from them. Arm yourself with the swords you forged from their discarded bones. And you shall shatter temples is the name of the game. It is a game about rising up against an overwhelming power that is trying to crush you. See what I mean about her little thing?
Yeah.
This is 100% speaking my language.
I thought
she
so.
had me at T-Witch Games, but now I'm heart eyes
100%.
immediately.
Yeah. I was looking, she has all these games. I'm like, okay, which one should we talk about today? I was like, Samantha will like this one.
Yeah.
All right. So you rising up against an overwhelming power that is trying to crush you. All you have is what you carry with you, and those who rise up by your side. Together you can turn the tide. Together you can dethrone a god.
I need to play this immediately.
Like literal heart eyes from Samantha right now. It is a GM-less game meant for 2 to 4 plus players, and it is played with a deck of playing cards and some 6-sided dice. You can get it for $7 on her itch.io page, but the text-only version, the one that doesn't have any of the art, is free. And she asks that if you do get the free version, that maybe you donate a couple of bucks to something that supports marginalized creators and marginalized people. So
That's awesome.
if you do that, yeah. But yeah, the pictures and the art for like all her stuff is beautiful, and
Yeah.
the stuff like it's like this awesome like kind of like deity with like kind of a broken halo / crown. Like it's all really red and black. It's very beautiful.
Brought it up on my phone, but I'm going to need to spend time there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I'm not going to do that because I know I will
Yeah,
fall directly into the
100%.
phone.
All right, and the next one. Again, little intro thing. Once there was a city called Athira by those who knew her. Her walls have long since crumbled. Her people long since gone into dust and ashes. Athira was born, lived in the way cities live, until she reached the final days of her existence. The Last Days of Athira Before the Fall is a tabletop storytelling game for multiple players about remembering a lost city through the things it left behind, played using a regular deck of cards. And it is $5 on itch.io. The really cool thing about this one was, like she's an artist, she does amazing things, but this was inspired by a game jam on itch that was all the free art you can get from the Met.
Oh, cool.
So the jam was like everyone would find different pieces of art from the Met that would be like inspire them or that they'd use for their cover or like as the art for their game. And so this was what
Nice.
inspired her. It's this really cool, like this old like city or castle-ish thing up on this giant kind of like rock that's kind of like it gives you a vibe of like ruins, an old city. It's really cool.
Ugh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Right in the archaeology heart.
Yeah, exactly. So those are 2 more incredible games from Anna. Again, like go check out her stuff. It's so cool. And there's so many. There's like I had a hard time picking because sometimes, you know, the indie designer of the month is like me, where they have 2 games. Yay, 2 games! It's super great. Love it. And then there's people like Anna who have like 15 or 20, and I'm just like, okay, well that covered. Oh, that one. Oh, look at that one's pretty too. And you have to like pick. So yeah, definitely go check it out. And do not just trust that I picked the best ones for you. I picked the best ones for me, and obviously Samantha too. Shockingly, we have similar tastes.
Weird.
Yeah. But yeah, go check it out. Anna's amazing. Yeah, thank you so much, Anna, for being our indie designer of the month for February 2024. And we'll be back next week with a new indie designer of the month because it will be March. Right? Yes. It will be March.
Yes.
It will be
March
March.
3rd. It
Oh,
will be
okay.
next Sunday. Okay.
I'm not ready.
No.
All right. Topic tonight. What type of player are you? Does it change based on setting or system? And if it does, why?
I think we all know that I'm the weird player. The toucher of cursed objects.
Yes. Mhm.
Person who will make.
Can I turn the cursed object into a purse? Is that a thing I can do?
I did make a purse out of a skull.
Yes, you did. It
Yeah.
was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag Vampire the Masquerade goals.
But I will say I do temper the weird to fit the setting.
Okay.
It doesn't go away.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, I can't.
Mhm.
But I can turn the volume down if it's a more serious setting. Like I was fairly normal for me in our One Ring game.
Yes. Yes, you were.
I was still mud wrestling elven princes
Yes.
in Rivendell, but
Definitely not the weirdest thing you've done.
not the weirdest thing
Not
I've ever
even
done.
close. Like not even. Yeah, it's very on the Kermit of the Kermit Fozzie Bear spectrum. Like yes, very normal and yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you also like change the flavor of the weirdness.
Yeah, it
Like-
isn't always Eldritch Horror.
No, I mean that's sort of like
I mean-
that's sort of a default that goes, but
Yeah.
like you're also really able to like switch it. Like when we did our Savage Worlds game ages ago, their
Oh,
Savage
yeah.
Rifts game, and you played like the teenage angsty dragon who like
Yeah.
journaled all the time.
I was like so embarrassed by my mom. Oh my
gosh.
god, Mom, you can't do that.
I mean, I'd be embarrassed if my mom was Bill playing a glitter boy too, like legit. But
Out of
Legit,
character,
yeah.
amazing.
Amazing.
In character, crushingly
Oh.
embarrassing.
yeah, no, he wasn't the glitter boy. He was the
crazy,
Yeah.
yeah.
Stu was the glitter boy. But yeah, it
That was definitely a different kind of weird.
yeah, like weirdly normal except dragon.
Yeah.
Like angsty teenager complaining all the time, also dragon. But
Also
okay,
dragon.
But a dragon.
like but it felt very normal a lot of the time. Like okay, this makes sense that she'd be complaining about that. Okay.
What types are there?
I don't know,
I mean,
like loud or quiet or
yeah. I mean, I tend to like vibe check each game I'm in and like see how like weird it's gonna be, or and sometimes I can set the tone if I'm playing, and I'll try to keep things. I don't know. I guess it really is the dial. How much I dial it up and back depends on the game and how everyone else is playing. If they want to kind of keep it serious, or if Teenage Dragon.
If you want serious, generally do not invite me to play in your game.
But there are
You keep going. I'm going to push back on that in a second. Good.
there are a couple of things that I always tend to do in a game, like couple of roles that I fill. For instance, in some games, you'll notice, maybe you've been in these games, where people want to sit around and talk about and mitigate all the danger and talk endlessly about what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
I like to be the guy who goes I leave. The GM has given you the hook.
Yeah.
I'm the
get
one who
it
jumps on the hook and swings across the pit through the door, and everyone's there's a game I play every Wednesday night, and I was kind of burned out. And one of the other guys who's very familiar with the world, because we're working on the book for it together, he's like,
nice.
"Why don't I just play? You've never been able to play." I'm like, "I've never been able to play in my own world. Yes, please." So I was playing this halfling, and we're in the Feywild where you don't trust anything, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we got to figure out where we're going." It's you hear off the path somebody going, "Help me, please!" And I just went, "Oh, somebody needs our help!" And I run off the path, and everyone went, "Oh God, he's gonna get us all killed."
Yes.
It's a trap.
Yeah.
But I also had pockets full of sausages, and they were just bears.
Yeah.
So I shared my sausages with them. It was
Yeah.
fine.
And especially if you know your group really well, you can do
Yeah.
that stuff. I think it's helpful though to have the person who kind of keeps the clock ticking.
Mm-hmm.
It can get so exhausting. A couple of our home games, we've had that happen on stream games too all the time, but not for a while. But especially when we first started, that's one of those habits you kind of have to break.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things that's annoying when you're doing it off stream, but it's even more annoying when you're doing it on stream.
Yeah.
But people just talking to try and find the perfect plan with no holes in it, and you're just oh my gosh, if I wanted to plan stuff, I could go home and do my lesson
This feels like an
plans.
Excel sheet.
I'm I do enjoy the planning for an encounter or something like that. That's fun to a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
And
point
at
at
that
which
point-
the cats need to get herded so we can just get on with it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So fire that starter pistol in the air.
Yeah.
Get those cats moving.
Yep.
Yeah. I was gonna push back against some of the if you're doing a serious game, don't invite me. You have this amazing ability to. I would generally describe you as more of a quiet player.
Mhm.
Not not necessarily reserved, but you very much are involved in everything. But you tend to kind of scope everything out before you make your decisions as a player. You do a great job of switching from the super kind of weird zany to heartfelt thoughtful moments.
Oh, cool.
And I think and especially I mean, it's happened in a lot of our campaigns together, but especially like One Ring just being the most recent.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 1 minute you're swinging around with the Princes of Rivendell and like hanging out and like I can climb the wall faster than them, and then like the next minute you're like having a really heartfelt moment with with Jay's character when he's leaving, and like
Oh yeah.
just like you have that ability to definitely make it serious and thoughtful and like the crying moments sometimes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I love
know.
that.
Just
Yeah.
wanted to like.
It's not all weird all the time, but it's gonna be a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. When I started playing in Pinnacles, which happens on Sunday afternoons right here on Happy Jacks, we recently, it's a superhero game, and I was having a hard time kind of finding my feet on that because I'm so, like, I've always just done fantasy pretty much.
Yeah.
And
Wild Talents is very extreme.
yeah,
Like-
and it's also like I'm in a room with a bunch of people I kind of know,
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to be comfortable, and I don't want to step on anyone's feet, and
Yeah.
you know, and now we're all very comfortable. It's fine.
Yes.
And then we are now, our characters are going through the Happy Jacksiverse. And we just ended up in a fantasy world where we're pirates, and I'm like, I'm a dwarf, and like during this whole thing today, where Pooja made us all cry, and they're like reuniting the spirit of father with the daughter and all this stuff.
Oh.
Spoilers, and she had mentioned at one point that we're like in his like a man cave, like the literal cave, and she knows there's like this and that, and there's some nuts and da 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 da. And so I was eating nuts for the rest of it. Like, just every time they looked over, I was just
Nice. Yeah. This conversation was sort of inspired by a conversation you were dropping in it on the Discord, like I think it was last week. I have no sense of time, but recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you were in it too, Samantha, and like people were joking. I was talking about how I'm always like, especially at our gaming tables, like I'm always like the straight man, the Kermit, the A clown, like the herder of cats. Like it's so funny because like we were going through a list of all the different APs like over the years, and they were like, no, you were weird in that one. Oh yeah, but then Samantha was in that one. So yeah, you were still not. You weren't the weirdest. Like the consensus was at any other table, I'd probably be the weird one, but I just can't out weird all my friends.
That means you have good taste in friends.
That's what I said. That's what I was like. Okay, that's fine. I think I tend to be kind of like the peacemaker player who like tries and gets everyone on the same page. I think I do kind of like a shocking mommy school teacher, like to try and like, you know, make everyone's experience good, but also like I also like to plan stuff. Like not like what you were talking about where
Yes.
you're like, well, okay, if we do this, but so I don't know. I think that tends to be my MO no matter what I end up doing. But I wouldn't say I don't know. I don't think I'm a quiet player, but I'm definitely not like zany out there. Like I make sure like I'm involved. I talk a lot. You know, I ask other people questions. I like that's how kind of I make sure I'm like the GM's like sidekick where I'm like, you're not engaged. What are you? My character's gonna talk to your
That's
character.
like my dream player.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like,
I'm
come
like,
on, guys. So and so just had a breakdown. Ask them about it.
Yeah. I'm like the TA to like the professor of the GM. Like, okay, I'm gonna grade all your papers and like make sure here I'm gonna return them. Yeah, they're gonna do the lecture later, but
Yeah, my Wednesday night group like kind of stumbled into that at some point, and they all went like, oh, I like this. Like if someone's having an emotionally hard time and I ask them about it, that leads to really good role-playing moments. Oh.
yeah.
Fancy that.
Yeah.
I do think that if I'm not at a table with you or other people that kind of fulfill that role, I will jump in and kind of like try and get people to kind of do things together. Because that I'm also a people manager.
You are. Yeah.
Even as a GM, I sometimes have a hard time with like maintaining the tone of a situation and everything, because I also like to make jokes. And
You
like,
do?
On occasion. Yes. And like, and make funny voices and and do all sorts of weird stuff. But like, I don't know, I've had to learn a skill, and I'll talk about this more on our question. But like, I've had to learn this certain skill. I call it shutting the fuck up. It's so painful sometimes to just let a joke die in your brain. But you gotta let it happen when like good stuff is happening, and then just let the players play. Set up the pins, let them knock them down, and you don't always have to like show up and be like, "Say everybody, who wants an ale?"
I think setting and system does change it a lot for me.
Mm-hmm.
I get very quiet when I play D&D.
Yeah.
Like it's just like a lot. Like I'm just like, or I do the thing where I cycle between figuring out like the mechanics, trying to remember all the shit about the world I don't know and probably should by this point in my TTRPG career. It's never deep, right?
which
Or winter,
world?
fall. I don't know. I don't know. Exactly. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Although I was very proud of myself today. I'm on a Facebook group that like complains about a bunch of other things, and then someone posted a very inside joke about it's a Facebook group that complains about people who flip houses and make them all like monochromatic.
Oh yeah.
So
Gross.
there was someone posted. People post memes, and they posted the metallic dragon, and they were holding up the card where like it's like the Family Guy where he has a card, and it's like the lighter skin tones and then the darker skin tones. Except they switched it to be like the metallic skin tones are okay, and then the chromatic skin tones are like dangerous. So it's like that, and I was like, I'm here for this. I get this meme. And I totally and I got a D&D joke. I was super proud of myself. Like everyone in the group thought I was just like proud that like, oh hey, we finally have a D&D joke. I'm like, I got a D&D thing. I know that.
I still hear stuff about D&D and like the lore that they use, and I'm like, really? That's how you're gonna do it? And I'm like,
I mean,
like the more I hear about it, the less I want to use it. I mean, I just use the system and then run it in my own world.
Yeah.
Which
That's what I do with literally every system that
Yeah.
exists, except the One Ring. It was the
No,
one time I did
well,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Literally the one time.
when I was in high school, they came out with the Forgotten Realms setting with like all the big maps and the books and everything, and I dove in and I loved it and like was just absolutely eating it all up, learning about everything that I could and just overflowing my brain. And finally, like after months of this, I was like, all right, we're gonna play in this world. I don't know what system we were playing. It probably wasn't D&D. And there's a long time in my gaming career where I was like, fuck that game.
Yeah.
And then the first game that we're in, somebody asked a question and I gave them the lore, and then somebody else corrected me on it. And I was like, never again. Never again am I using somebody else's system. So they can know more than me. I think that may have been an ego issue.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah. I relate though. Like reading One Ring was like super stressful. It was just like, oh gosh. Because like, I don't know if you know this, but nerds have a really bad reputation with things they love on the internet.
What?
Whoa.
So I was like, I know a lot about this, but I don't know as much about it as like some people on the internet who probably have nothing better to do than be jerks when they find these YouTube videos. So it was like one of the things where I was like, okay, take a deep breath.
I'm gonna be okay.
It's gonna be fine. And I like joined the One Ring Discord, like,
Tentatively.
oh god. And then they were super nice and helpful.
Oh.
And then we've had nothing but
awesome.
like beautiful, lovely, charming comments on the replies. Like overall, our YouTube channel actually has lovely, lovely comments. Every once in a while, there's a
That's
rando
great.
wit's comes through, but like it's like twice a year.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time, it's just beautiful, wonderful people saying how great things are, and like that just really. It's one of those things where like most people, I think, like when they get the notification that their channel has like a comment, they like, oh no.
Uh-oh.
And every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I wonder what somebody said. Like there's like that reaction
yeah.
because we have
Yeah.
like such a great
That
community.
is a really good like reaction to
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
and rare.
It's super rare. I like never expected that in life. Like, oh, we have a thing. Okay. And like, yeah, it's been fun. Someone's recently been going through and watching all our Rainbow Railroad we used to pre-pandemic every year we do a 24-hour street. It's like streamathon where people ran 4-hour games back to back to back to back to back for 24 hours to raise money for Rainbow Railroad, which helps get LGBTQ people out of dangerous places where they're living, like Russia and things like that, where they are literally in like serious danger.
Right.
Now that yes, someone's just been watching a bunch of those back to back, like, and just leaving beautiful comments on it. It's just like, oh,
so cute.
nice. It's so cute. Yeah,
I love that.
so nice. Sorry, that has nothing to do with the topic, but anyway, just sharing my joy with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I love joy. Yeah, it's. I think like I tend to go. Like, I've been running a whole lot of sci-fi lately. Shocking, right? And I wonder why. So I've also been like trying to play in different sci-fi games if I can in like different places. I tend to also go very captain in those. I try not to play the captain. A lot of games don't have like a captain role for players, but yeah, I always end up like the goody
But
two-shoes
sometimes
for me.
people end up in charge.
Yeah, even if there's not a mechanic, it's usually me. It's fine. I know who I am.
Yes,
Just accept it.
I've been thinking about running a sci-fi thing based on, because like I run like pretty much every game except for like during my Champions years in the 90s using some sort of fantasy setting. But I've never like written any like as I write TV and movies, never anything, but always write sci-fi, but I've never really run sci-fi. And I'm like, what is this? So I started writing
Nice.
a fantasy series, and now I need to run something based on the sci-fi series that I wrote, Seven Scoundrels World or
nice.
Universe. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Would it work well for found family drama between crewmates? I'm just kidding.
What?
I might have a system that can do that.
No.
But
No, that's literally what it's about in the kids. So yeah.
boy, have I got a system for you.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so it's fun to think about those patterns and different things. I have to. I'm cycling up to run again soon, and then I'm gonna play in someone else's game. I'm gonna do my best, whatever game that is. I don't know what game that is yet, but I'm gonna try not to be the leader, and I'm gonna try and be the weird one.
I believe in you.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to like not like rig the casting too, so it's like quiet, boring people and me. So like Jason or someone's gonna be Jimmy. He's like, what is happening with this? This is the Happy Jacks. Am I in the right studio?
It's like, Kimmy, these are cardboard cutouts.
I'm the weird one.
I'm the weird one, okay?
Okay, cardboard cutouts. We all have to work together on this.
It's like somehow I ended up being the mommy in a room full of cardboard cutouts.
That's exactly what's gonna
What's happening?
Yep. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Good topic, yay.
Yay.
Okay.
I love that topic.
It's very fun, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of want to like drop that in every once in a while, like with different groups of people.
Yeah,
and see what they
absolutely.
think, too.
Yeah.
Um,
It's interesting to see like what you think of yourself as a player also, and then find out like what your GMs or other players think of like your play style.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think Jason would say I was much more interesting a player than I think I am.
I would agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's nice. I'm definitely not like Clara, like silver tongue, using it to lick a werewolf because it literally means silver tongue. Like I'm not. My brain doesn't quite work that way.
Not everyone's does.
I
It
know.
probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
We love Clara.
Yes.
Yes, but yeah,
It works for Clara, and we love her.
we love her. All right, mailbag number 1.
I can
Someone
read it.
besides me.
That's
Okay.
me.
Okay.
Hey there, ho there, hi there. It's Davi, as you can see.
Hello.
Greetings, Jackernauts of the gaming realm. I have a question about social dynamics and games in AITA. Am I the asshole? Well, yes, in this specific case. Oh no.
Yes,
always
but in
been-
this specific case.
I've always been of the opinion that group games are designed so that everyone has their moment in the spotlight. When running games, I try to keep track of who's done what around the table, make sure everyone gets some loving and all that. Often, though, other games and their runners aren't really good at that. During those, I have found I tend to have a fairly strong personality, and sometimes it feels like I'm running the scene/group. However, attempts to fix this often are not successful. I will often pause and go, does anyone have any suggestions, ideas, things they want to do? Sounds like Kimmy. Sitting there and hearing the thunderous chirping of crickets is a frustrating and saddening thing. Yes.
Yes.
Last night we were in a game. I'm playing someone fairly impulsive, but I was trying to be a little bit more reined in to give others a chance. I wound up having to take several calls for action from the DM as no one else was contributing. I felt frustrated and was wondering what I could have done better. I talked to the group out of game afterwards and asked if folks were okay. I reiterated I wasn't trying to run the campaign and wanted everyone to contribute. I wanted to bring up that it was frustrating for me as well, but decided to hold back as I didn't want to seem like I was attacking people. I did get some positive responses, but I'm concerned. This is a dynamic that I have seen pop up before, and one I'm trying to find a way to leash in a way that gives everyone the amount of energy and attention at the table they desire. Sincerely, Davi. Davi on the forums, Davi at the game table.
Do you mean the Discord? We don't have we have forums still on the internet. They're locked though. You can't actually.
Yeah.
They're really, really old.
They're like, hey, is anybody getting a cell phone?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about trading in my beeper.
Yeah. That's sort of why we finally just there was the same 15 people were posting all the time and nobody else was on it because they weren't mobile friendly.
Yeah.
So it's sad. But they're still archived somewhere. If you Google, it's still one of the top things for us because they were so busy back in the day.
Back in the day.
All right, Davi, I'm gonna go ahead and I think we all know you're not the ass.
No, it actually sounds like you're very wonderful in your thoughtfulness about your other players.
Yeah, you're being Kimmy.
Yeah.
You're trying to herd the cats.
Yeah.
Then they're not herding well.
Well, here's the thing is what's really actually going wrong here. There's some different people have different play styles like we just discussed. And we tend to be people who are outgoing because we're sitting, we play games online and stuff like that. But I play with a lot of people who don't do that, have no desire to do that, they're also not the sort of people who want the spotlight thrown on them. They like to show up, hang out with their friends, roll some dice, and they're perfectly fine with that. And a lot of them don't have the ideas to come up with. So when everyone's quiet and you jump in with a suggestion, they might be desperate for anyone to give a suggestion because they're super intimidated.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure. You said you had a discussion with them. I don't know what the results of that discussion were, but I think it might be okay because you're giving silence and allowing time for other people to jump in. And if they don't, I'm literally going through this right now in one of my friends' games. So where I'm like, is anyone else going to say anything?
It sounds like you're really making a strong effort to do multiple things during the game to draw people in and not kind of overshadow other players. If they're not taking that opportunity, that's not on you.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like I know this feeling where the table's not working and you're assuming it's your fault.
Oh no, too real.
Right?
Oh, yeah, that hurt.
I feel like that's not the case. I don't feel like they're not talking because you talk sometimes, which maybe that's what you're assuming. It sounds like you're giving plenty of. If you're listening to crickets chirp enough to be frustrated by it, you're definitely giving them a door to walk through. Here's an open door. Ready, go. Ready anytime you're ready. I believe in you. Go through the door. And they're just not doing it. And
maybe that's because they are quieter players and they don't want to take the initiative, or they don't know how.
Yeah, I think I honestly would talk to the GM at this point and have just a conversation and ask them am I don't even put that on them. You don't need them their opinion on it. It doesn't matter. Be like, hey, I'm frustrated by, I feel like I'm constantly the one I feel like I'm constantly the one taking the initiative. And,
I'm doing all the work in the group project, and
making, trying to give everyone opportunities to do stuff, and they're not always doing it. And I feel like I'm always talking, which I feel awkward about because I don't want to over talk other people. But at the same time, if I don't talk, nothing happens. This is very cathartic. Thank you for writing this email.
Yeah.
Getting a lot off my chest.
Good.
But I like have that one-on-one with the GM, and just see what they say about it. Because if the GM's like, yeah, I really appreciate you keeping things moving, like pulling an Ingy and like throwing stuff and making sure things happen instead of just sitting forever.
Yeah.
I think that would be an interesting perspective on the situation to get.
And also, if the GM isn't currently aware of kind of how folks are feeling about that, bringing it to their attention, they might be able to kind of build some of those opportunities and bids for the other players to get to jump into how they're running the game. So it's not just like another player being like, here's a spot, get in there.
Yeah.
Literally having the GM kind of like invite that character to come to the forefront might work a little better.
Yeah, and one of the things I've been doing in the game that I'm playing right now is like I know that it's full of like old fair people, so I know that they know how to talk, but they're not doing it. And some of them might be like they're not used to doing in character stuff in this sort of situation or whatever. So I'll turn over to them and in character, using their character name, be like, Francois, what do you think of this? And they'll be like, well, I think that we should, and it'll spark some things off and like just kind of start throwing it around.
It does feel like you're compensating, Dobby, for the GM.
Yeah, the teacher needs to call on other kids in this situation.
This is why you have your deck of cards that have the names, you shuffle them, or your popsicle sticks or whatever. Decks of cards are easier to carry around. And
they're cool.
And they're cool, yeah. And you can just shuffle them, super easy, really nice. Yeah. And you it's just great. But yeah, it feels like you're taking on a lot of the management role and like trying to keep things equitable. When it's a nice, it's nice to have a player who does that. It's not your job. Not your job.
I think it's great to be aware of the dynamic like this as a more outgoing player. But I agree with you. I don't think it's like you don't have to kind of jump in to manage that.
Yeah. Also, I've played at many tables with you, Dobby. You played at my tables when I was GMing. Like you are a great player, and you balance really well. When there's other people giving at the table, you don't step on toes. You don't like talk over them. You're really good at like letting yourself be heard but letting other people have moments too. It sounds like you're trying to balance with people who aren't putting anything in. Yeah. So you're overcompensating and you're feeling really self-conscious on top of feeling like you're stepping on their toes because of just this imbalance that they are causing by not putting anything in.
That's true. Yeah, I think it's important to not like shrink yourself as a player in that situation.
Yeah, sorry, I was loud about my agreement. But yeah, don't shrink yourself.
Yeah, and I really do think like I love passing the ball around. Or just being like, I've got no ideas. Who does have an idea?
Yeah.
I don't know why that's my go-to voice tonight, but here we are.
It's great. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess, talk to the GM. Any other thoughts or like suggestions?
I think talking to the GM is really good. I love that you're like making bids for the other players to kind of interact and jump in. I think continue to do that. I don't think there's any harm in doing that, but I wouldn't kind of feel like you have to do that.
I might like. Oh,
no, go ahead.
I might actually. This might be mean. I don't know what your play group's like. Super manipulative. Sorry. I again, like herding cats. I don't know what your playgroups rules are about missing a session. Like if they cancel if someone's missing.
Oh.
It might be interesting to be sick or like miss a session and see what happens, and see if the story progresses, see if the GM like drags them by the ear through some stuff, or maybe they end up stepping up and seeing what happens. So that might be an interesting kind of like control to your like science experiments.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That might be worth something. If you have a policy where, okay, you cancel or you play something else if someone doesn't show up, then that won't work as well. But
Yeah.
just something to see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Email number 2. Mailbag number 2. Sorry.
Wait, one last thing.
Okay, go.
Another thing that I've been doing recently, and I'm going to pretend that it's completely on purpose, is that I forget the details of the adventure.
Oh, yeah.
And then I have to ask everyone else what's going on with the adventure. Like, why are we here?
Yeah.
But I'm the face man, so it's mid conversation with somebody important, and I have to be like, why? And we're here. Why are we here? And they have to like
Amazing.
throw stuff in, and it becomes a
That's
fun
awesome.
team sport. So
Yeah.
it's not because I'm old.
No.
Mailbag 2.
Well, and that's also, I mean, if you do have a policy against like missing sessions or something, like maybe talk to the GM and have something. Now it might be very frustrating for you, and that might not be worth it. But maybe have something happen to your character where they can't talk or something, or they can't be involved in a certain way for, like something where that like pulls your character back a little bit. I don't know, like depending on what system you're playing, like maybe you die and you're a shade for that episode, or I don't know, whatever it is, something that
Sleeping
could be,
Beauty.
yeah, whatever. I mean, that would be
Get hit by
super-
lightning, die, and then be at like a -4 for 4 days, and you have to sit and like meditate and sleep for. That happened yesterday to one of my players.
I mean,
He
that
didn't
sounds-
have to sit on the
yeah.
back; he chose to.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I mean, I would not be able to do that. But yeah, see if there's options there where you could maybe still participate in some way, but might force people to be a little bit more of like the ideas people. I don't know. Think about it. You're creative. You'll figure out something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now. Mailbag.
Ah, it's me. Oh gosh! All right, here we go. Mailbag 2.
Oh, wait, no. One more. Sorry.
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, in chat, Bumbletrue, Steffi, just said that you could try GMing. Run a one-shot.
Oh.
Ooh,
So
that's
that's the GM
Steffi is
plays.
brilliant.
Oh, good. And then you can kind of see how the dynamic works with the other people. That's an interesting.
Nice.
Yay.
Yes.
Good idea.
More
I like that one.
Our chat is so smart. I love our chat.
I know. It's great. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Mailbag 2. Hello, Happy Jacks crew. Welcome back to season 33 and happy winter celebration of your choosing. Happy New Year's if I take a long time to finish this email. Happy Valentine's Day if I'm extra late with this. Yes. Very close. Or, wait, no, we already had that.
Yeah,
didn't
we did.
We
Yeah.
did do that.
All right.
Yes.
Last time I wrote in, I mentioned I had a new group that I was having a great time with, and you asked me to tell you fine folks about it, so here I am back again. So I'm going to try to talk about some really good parts of the games we played. So in one of our most recent games, and the game I've enjoyed the most so far, was a Things from the Flood game. I played Joanne Campbell, favorite character I ever played. So we had about 35-ish sessions spread over 3 seasons, so a lot of backstory there. But I'll try not to bog the email down with all that. I will say I am going to gush a lot about Jo's character development because she went from someone who doesn't want to be around anymore to someone who will survive and keep her friends safe, even if it means fighting a goddamn murderous cyborg with an axe and win doing it.
Nice.
Yes!
Excellent.
She faced her crippling fear of asylums. Our party saved a giant coleopod's baby twice.
Aw.
And had an inconceivable eldritch being love her enough to have at least a part of it become her pet cat and her occasional protector.
Amazing. If you want to
That's-
trade off, I know this is long. So
Yeah,
let me
this
know.
is no, I was gonna say this is amazing, but also it is a lot of text, so I don't mind.
All right. So, I guess I should probably get to a story from this game. So this story takes place on our second session of the game.
Season.
Season of the game, sorry. After 2 PCs from the first season went off to do things off screen, their players made 2 new characters. It was about halfway through the season. We had just managed to return the baby giant isopod to its mother. Good for you. Isopods are people do. And we were trying to keep a low profile, as we didn't want Sunshine, the Loop Foundation in our game, to know that we were the one who found and saved Lickaboo, the baby isopod. Lickaboo.
That's very
so
cute.
good.
Oh.
So we were going to the school Halloween dance. At the dance, oh my god, this is one of the things I love about Things from the Flood and Tales from the Loop. It's just like, baby isopod, school dance.
School day.
At the dance, we did sort of split up. We thought it was just going to be a fun session to unwind, and some people went to spike the dance's punch. After another went to play in her band as the dance's warm-up act. Another might have done an occult cemetery with some tomatoes. Oh yeah, tomato sauce. Joe got to dance with a gynoid that she was crushing on. For the most part, the session was just fun, little dumb stuff like that. Near the end of the session, one of the PCs, Lydia, was on the bench for the season, showed up at the dance. Lydia wasn't having the best of times on the bench. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wasn't having the best of times on the bench. She was working at Sunshine, trying to find out the shady crap that they were up to and keep the rest of us safe. And it was taking its toll. So Joe was the first one to get Lydia, get to Lydia. And this was probably one of the more important scenes for Joe in our second season. She was so angry and happy to see her that Joe let out all of the things she had been bottling up until then. She brought up another character's drinking to deal with what happened before, and how she couldn't do anything to get them to stop now, and how she couldn't reach the other benched character. And Joe was doing her best, but she just wasn't enough to help her friends and keep the new ones safe from everything that was happening. There was a lot of good back and forth, and if I don't hate the sound of my own voice, I'd get back into listening to it and give it a better recap. The other PCs from the first season did get to have a moment with Lydia, which did let us find out why she went away and found out that she was working at Sunshine. She gave us a letter with instructions on how to get to her and the other benched character. Honestly, I love the game and Joe so much that she's now a hidden NPC in any game I run.
That's cute.
It's so good. I give one more short story.
Where everything story?
Yeah. Well, everything just sort of meshed role-playing wise and game-wise. We're playing a new TTRPG that's getting a digital release soon called Change Stars. It's a space sci-fi game inspired by utopian feminist science fiction. I'm sorry. Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
I would like all of this. I would like, yes. Well, let's get to the story. There are 3 players. Bayer, me, the pilot, Douglas Dog Crowley, the soldier and weapons specialist, and Doc Rindis Lucio, our xenobiologist, also forced into the diplomat of our little group. We are basically the lead away team for exploring a newly discovered planet deep in space. So we went on a shuttle, returning to our main ship after negotiations with some space pirates. One of the pirates, Thomas.
The pirate Thomas.
I love it.
The Red Pirate Thomas.
All of these amazing sci-fi names and like Pirate Thomas was giving us a lift back. Like he's like a nice guy. He's like, I'll give you a lift. It's fine.
Yeah, come on.
Pirate Thomas.
Get in my pirate ship.
Yeah. Thomas and Dog bonded with their interactions, both being former military and being responsible for keeping safe a different set of bumbling fools who just seem just as likely to end up getting themselves ended as much as, well, something else that's incredibly dangerous. Well, on the way back, Thomas was at the helm and he received a message, and he was acting a bit weird during the call, but we couldn't hear what it was. And he hung up and told us that it was the human empire supremacist, and they wanted him to turn us over. He wasn't going to do it, partially because the good Dr. Rindis did do some medical treatment on some of his people, and more so because he had become friends with Dog. Well, at this point, Bayer got behind the sick dog, got behind the stick, Dog got on the gun, and Rindis went with Thomas to make sure that the ship would run as best it could. It was here that we found out that we accidentally made a team that had a lot of synergy.
Nice.
So we bring a long story short.
Too late.
we were the find out to their F around.
Nice.
With Dog basically head shooting their pilot and backup pilot and their backup pilot with our shuttle space gun. Rindis helped repair the ship when we got hit and put Thomas out when he caught on fire.
Oh no.
Fire kept the distance using the planet's gravitational field to help us slingshot closer to our mothership. So, those were 2 really good moments I've had with my new group. Sorry they weren't more detailed. I hope you enjoyed them. Dougler. P.S. I am very bad at writing emails and was supposed to have finished this back in December. P.P.S. Have you guys ever made characters on the show or at home that just meshed well mechanically with the other players at your table? P.P.S. P.P.P.S. I don't have anything else to say. I just wanted to add another postscript.
That was awesome, Dougler.
Amazing.
Nice.
I especially appreciate it with all the sci-fi that I've been running. And I want to know more about Change Stars. Hello,
That
thank
sounds
you.
cool,
This
yeah.
is brands. If
Yeah.
you are allowed to share Dougler, please do. happyjacksrpg@gmail.com. Have you ever made characters in the show or at home that just meshed well mechanically with the other players at your table?
Dougler's in the chat too, so
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's interesting because we always do character creation together, so there's always a little bit of that. We plan things together, or hey, why don't I do this, and then we can play off each other.
yeah.
So it's a little bit less like we all
I made
make
a character and brought it to the table.
and then
Yeah.
it happened to do that. But there was actually one of the first RPG I ever played with Jason, who was running a home game of 5e. I think it was 5e. And I've told stories about that game before. And it was like one of these things, you're like, huh, I probably should invite him to Happy Jacks. This is cool. I forgot that I didn't know he played TTRPGs. Oh, he finally played D&D. Cool. I'll do that. Testament to how much I value Jason's friendship. But I don't even remember who the other player was. But I was playing the Warforged, and Warforged Atheist is very weird. And someone else had like a warrior character, and just like we just happened to synergize super well. Like we both had made characters kind of separately. I didn't know really what I was doing because I was like, oh, D&D. Oh, okay, I'll pick this one. This is cool. This is fine. And then it was fun when we got into combat. So we just like I don't know. It felt like when we used to do raids together in WoW. Yeah. I think he was my guild leader in WoW.
So much fun.
So much fun. And we just had like when we got the raid down and we were like practicing and we just go boom, 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 boom. When we got to the point where we can kind of have other conversations while we did some of them. Instead of just going, damage, okay, run over there, okay. Like eventually we get to the point where you're like, okay.
Flame rate, don't move.
Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of do it. And it just kind of like felt like that a lot of the time, which was fun because it's hard to get to that vibe place in D&D combat. But so I don't know. That was fun. That was like the last time I think that happened just kind of by accident because we've always kind of done session zeros because that's just a really important part of our play culture here at Happy Jacks.
Yeah. The only game I can think of that I think kind of was a little bit more surprising synergy-wise was when we did the World of Darkness game where we played all the different splats.
Oh, yeah.
I have the worst memory in the entire world, so I don't remember what the campaign was called. I'm sorry.
The Autumn People.
Yes, thank you.
I'm like, I made the...
This is why I write everything down.
Yes.
But Abria was playing a mage, and my character was, a Geist. And
oh, yeah.
together we just kind of, like, almost, like, ran that plot because our characters worked so well together. Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun. That was a weird but fun campaign.
That was a weird but fun campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even before I think the term session 0 came around, like I was, we would just be like, hey, let's all get together and make our characters, in the same place. And like, it's a game day. It's fun. We get to hang out. And also like well, what are you going to play? Because that will inform my character and all that stuff. So, like, yeah, I don't do a lot of, like, you know, you make your character, you know, alone in a room and then just bring it to the table. That doesn't work for me.
Yeah. I mean, even like, yeah, I mean, like you're saying, like even back in the day, like, especially with D&D, like you kind of have to like decide who's going to be what roles. Like,
Yeah.
like you need your tank, you need your healer, like, you know, all these things. And so even that couldn't be done in a vacuum. I think more often we run into like character synergy
Mm-hmm.
that's not necessarily based on playbook. Like
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
be playing characters and like, I mean, for the most part, we're all friends or become friends.
Yes.
You're all my friends. I know everybody.
Uh-huh.
But like, even like when you're playing with friends, sometimes you'll create characters that just gel super really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one that was really surprising was in our first Demigods campaign, Revelations. It was like the beta, like a long time ago.
One of my favorite games of all time.
So good,
Mm.
right? Abria's character was like super like popular, like influencer mom character, like mommy blogger, and my character was like semi-goth, androgynous, you know, ace, like paparazzi,
Uh,
like not wholesome person in any way. And then she's like mommy blogger, and like just and honestly, I didn't know Abria super well at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of one of the things where it's like she sat down and our characters just ended up becoming like really close. And spoilers, but it was like 10 years ago. So, but like in Demigods, if you use your big power too many times, you become a god. You ascend. So she used her ascendance move, and we ended that campaign with me adopting her twins.
Yeah.
And it was like a thing is like crying at the end, and like I don't know, it was just that was one of those things that like, especially just even if I had known Abria and how well we got along like before, like looking at those two characters on paper, I would never have thought that they would have
No.
ended up close.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
yeah.
Like, these two are not going to be friends.
No.
They're so opposite.
Yeah, so opposite. Like
Yeah.
I was using my trickster powers to like get people to let me live in their Airbnbs for free. So I didn't actually have a home. Like I lived out of my like magic backpack and like just was like, oh, I think I'll stay in this McMansion for a few days, and then they're starting to get wise to it. I'm gonna. And she's like has like
I'm
her
a bounce.
yeah her picturesque home that she does blogging in, like with her two perfect kids. It's just like it's very different characters that ended up gelling super well.
Yeah, my the game I just played yesterday started out as like a West Marches campaign, which if you're not familiar with that is like a game that is actually propelled by the players. The players say, "Hey, we want to do this." And then they would contact me and say, like, "We want to run this adventure on this date." And then I would say, "Great." And then whoever signed up got to show up. And it was just like fun D&D in person stuff. And then it ended up being like the same 6 to 8 people. And now it's the same 6 people because I don't want 8 people at my table.
That's fair.
Yeah. And it's just chaos. And that was like the most recent time where it was just like, just bring whatever you want. Like, it doesn't matter. You know, these are all just one shots. It's fine. And so we have one of the first guys, he's a paladin of basically Zeus. And then my friend Julie shows up with a cleric of the god of the underworld. So, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be really weird and interesting. And they have this like really cool synergy going on where like they kind of feed off each other and they have like this like, you know, fun, like, oh, you wacky, what are you doing? You know, and like the relationship between those two characters that has grown out of it is one of my favorite things about the game. So, you know, the unexpected, I'm not going to say bedfellows, but friends,
Yes.
I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool.
If you don't have an answer, that's okay.
I don't know. I think there is definitely something to be said about how well our entire fellowship meshed in the One Ring
Yeah.
game. I think that's kind of one of the game where like all of the characters meshed really well.
Yeah.
Just like in a way that I haven't experienced in other games. Like those characters seem like they became like emotionally attached to each other, like in a different way from other characters I've played.
Yeah. I'm having a hard time letting go with it. Like,
Yeah, and I think that's why.
yeah, like, I mean, it was like, I don't know if it was that system or if it was because like Kai and I just were like, here's the thing we love. Everyone come and enjoy the story of this thing we really love. Or like, I don't know, the just meshing on that. And I keep trying to like, I'm trying to put together casts for the next couple shows, and my Starscape AP is going to be one of the next shows, and I just keep like, I can't put my fellowship back together in space, or can I?
I mean,
Dave is like, you should.
I'm with Dave.
Listen, I
I
don't
think
mind.
you totally should.
Like,
I mean, and that's to my detriment.
it's like, I don't know. So it's like, yeah, because like, I don't know, and we still. Like I always like archive the Slack chats after a certain time. Or like a year later, I still haven't archived. Every holiday, we all post our little Lord of the Rings memes. Here's our Sauron's I Heart Valentine.
I'm telling you, when a gaming group really gels,
Yeah.
like you don't want to break it. Like my Wednesday night game
Yeah.
started out as like a pandemic one shot.
Yeah.
And we've been playing together almost 4 years now, and we're working on, like, we're wrapping up campaign 1, moving into campaign 2. This week I had a very tough week. My like main computer died and I didn't have enough money to like get a new hard drive for it, and was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And that was on D&D nights, and
Oh,
I
no.
pulled up my laptop and they were like, hey, we all pitched in and there'll be a new hard drive at your house tomorrow.
Aww.
And it was like, we don't need to play tonight. We can just hang out, because like we haven't played in 2 weeks, and I miss you all so much.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I mean, it's interesting too, because like everyone here is my friends, and then just about everybody's friends with each other. And if you're not friends with everybody else, you've
You
got
will be.
some people you've got friends with. Like it's this weird thing. Sometimes we'll sit down for the podcast, and 2 people will be like, "Oh, hi, I'm so and so and so and so." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you haven't met yet." Like
We haven't
but-
met before.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is the first time.
I'm so bad about that. But you're all friends with a bunch of other people who know each other,
Yeah.
and like it's so interesting. It's like it's weird. Like
I know.
Yeah.
Kai and I keep like seeing each other as we're passing, and it's like, I need to talk to the person.
Yes, exactly. Well, you know, because before you started playing in Pinnacles at my birthday party last year, you and Kai and I, we all were on the fire till like super late.
Yes.
It was actually early, but
It was so late, it was early.
yep, exactly. But you know, even with like such
And
an
that's where I
amazing
met Sarah and
yeah,
Alex.
yep,
And
everybody, yeah.
yeah, it was just like, oh my God.
It's so fun. And but it's interesting, even with like we have amazing people to game with, like
Yeah.
amazing people. Even in that, sometimes there's just like these magic connections, and it's not even necessarily the people. It's like these people and these characters just happen to make
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
all our APs are special. Like they're all great, and like people like bond with them, but it's even interesting to see like how audience people bond with different ones.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, oh, okay, like there's, I don't know, it's just
I
very
love our
interesting.
crew that shows up in Twitch every week. It's
Yeah.
just so happy.
Right. And they're wonderful people who like leave the amazing comments, like I was talking about earlier. We got a really amazing one on one of the One Ring ones the other day. I was like, I guess it was like 3 weeks ago, but yeah, I came to watch Session 0 because you know, I wanted to see, I was running the system, and here I am on session 24, crying my eyes out. Thank you so much. I'm gonna check out another AP. Like
Aw.
it was just the cutest thing. I was like, oh,
That's so sweet.
it was super sweet. And like, yeah, and like Revelations is one of those for me.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how some of them like, oh, they're forever games, like in your heart. And well, someone else like has another game that you're like, oh yeah, that was a good game. Like that was my forever game. Like, so it's just everyone's take at the table is always different. It's just interesting to see how the subject matter, the tone, like the characters, all just I don't know, make magic for different people at different times.
Mm-hmm.
I just got super
Yeah.
philosophical there.
Yeah.
Like,
And we had like a question about maybe adding somebody to that Wednesday night group, and everyone was like, "Hold the fucking phone, no!" Like, this is a magical combination, and it is delicate, and we dare not upend the apple cart. We could destroy everything we have spent 4 years building.
No.
Yeah. So, but at the end, it was like, okay, maybe as like guests. We could
Yeah.
have some guests people come in.
Yeah.
But like so far, it has been the 6 of us, and only the 6 of us
yeah,
for the entire game. But it's so much fun.
so much fun.
Mhm.
All right,
Saving the world now, fighting demons.
nice.
Oh yeah, and I just came up.
Fighting demons.
I had to.
Sorry.
Great guest player. Yeah, I just came up with this amazing encounter. Involves like swinging cages. Ooh.
Sorry. Okay. The amazing person who left that comment is evidently in our chat right now.
Yay!
And they're talking and they're just like, yeah, I was just looking for help learning the One Ring rules and fell in love with the AP. My group ended up meeting Bruna of Bree in their game, and I have a Hanar pregen among my D&D pregens.
Yay!
Amazing. Yay.
Ranger Valley tabletop games. All right.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's so cool. Anyway, sorry.
I just like, I'm very proud of this thing because I play a very like swashbuckly type game and high adventure and stuff, and like came up with this idea for like swinging cages, and they have to like, and there are rules for like jumping from cage to cage, and they're like fighting things on top of these cages that actually have prisoners in them, and they're suspended over lava, and so like there's like I'm taking my liberties with the 5e system,
Cool.
and because I also don't believe in like pass or die. So like if you fail a roll and you start to fall off, and then you get to like try to save yourself, and if that doesn't, the prisoners try to grab you, and if that doesn't work, well, 3 strikes you're out. Sorry.
Yeah. The dice decided you died.
3 strikes, you in lava.
Yeah. There's a game which I keep meaning to like put groups together because it's like so us. It's called Shanty Hunters, and you actually take a sea shanty and you use the lyrics and the phrases and stuff as your mechanics and how you play.
Cool.
Yeah, it's very cool, and I feel like our friend group is very overqualified to play this game, and we need to make it happen.
Why is it whenever I'm playing a bard in a game or something like that, and it's like, oh, and everyone looks at me knowing like, oh, now you're gonna sing? I'm like, the only thing I can ever think is Whiskey or the Devil.
Yeah.
Like, one song out of the 100
Yeah.
something songs that I've sang in that band.
Yeah, it the way when people put you on the spot, you're like, I don't
Mind
remember
blank.
anything.
I've never heard a song in my life.
I was at a dinner party like with this group of like old school fair people, and they're like, and it is very interesting, but it was also like kind of a intimate thing, and I was like, I had my mandolin and stuff, and they were like, well, now you're a musician, aren't you? And they were like, oh, well, why don't you play us a song? Ah, Whiskey, you're the devil, you know, and they were like, ah.
100% that's me. Like, especially if you ask me to play the mandolin, like my brain just melts unless like the other people I have, unless my friend Claire and Carol are there.
Yes.
We played for 12 years together, the 3 of us. Like, he's my bass player, I'm my bouzouki player, I'm the mandolin player. We could play anything ever, which is why we made the Mary Sue's to make music together. But like, you ask me to play anything alone, I'm like, I can't. There's 2 songs I know, The Fox and Bog. It's all I can play. It's like my mind just like melts. I'm like, I wrote songs. I know songs.
I know.
I wrote whole songs that I made with my brain.
I wrote
and I can't.
entire songs.
Yes.
There were songs that I loved in that band that I knew every word to.
Yeah.
There were songs that I didn't like that I knew every word to.
So many.
and Whiskey or the Devil.
And on that note,
That terrible disappointment.
hey, you messed up my bad music joke.
Oh, sorry.
It's bad. It was bad, so don't worry about it. Thank you for joining
That
us.
was a thank you, not a
Yeah.
accusation.
Thank you for joining us for season 33, episode 12. Please support our amazing indie designer of the month Anna Landon, and you can find her stuff at. I'm sorry, I forgot to update the end of my notes here. Put it on the thing.
AnnaLandon.itch.io.
That's what it is. Thank you so much.
I got you back.
Yeah, thanks. And thank you to our chat mod, James V, and to our amazing patrons who keep us ad-free and independent. You can join their ranks at happyjacks.org/Patreon. Again, we do not take sponsorship or ad revenue from anybody, so this is how we keep the lights on and the mini fridge full. So yeah, keep us independent so we can be annoying
And weird.
and flip people off that we don't like and not have to worry about making everyone else happy. My name is Kimmy.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Ingy.
And this week we're going to leave you with a song called Force Your Way. And it is by Super Mad NES and our amazing friend Ryan, who plays guitar and just fucking shreds on it. Yeah, so it's a little loud. And it is a cover of a Final Fantasy song. So
Nice.
prepare yourself. I set the volume appropriately. But be ready. And also, we will see you
Enjoy.
next week. Yeah.
Bye.